Church of God in Christ materials describe SMM's mission as preparing youth and young adults to make a positive impact on their faith, family, and future, while the ministry's histories honors the leaders and laborers whose vision helped establish and expand this work. With that legacy in view, the conversation naturally turns to personal experience. How SMM shaped lives, called leaders, and inspired the formation of the Alumni Association.
Scholastic Motivation Ministries of the Church of God in Christ. This is Elder Sylvester Lewis, and we are so excited about our new initiative that we are doing with our new Legacy Alumni Association Network, where we're trying to bridge our foundation as well as all those who have helped make SMM what it is, as well as those who participated, and seeing where they are so that we can impact and let our young people know and the world know the importance of this particular area of the Church of God in Christ, being that we're teaching people how to, we have our burning, but our learning comes with so much more, because we don't live on the altar. We live in this society. And so we should be exactly how it was in the days of old, that they were doing and making impacts and strides. And so we want our young people to know that they can do that even today. So I am real excited to bring this particular person. I've always been excited and watching, and I'm going to let you know my history, watching this young man come up. If he ain't upset with me by now that I remember, oh, wow. I think he and my brother are almost about the same age, my little brother about the same age, but I remember him coming in. I can go all the way back to, I'll say the tornado. And he's probably going to bring some things back, tornado. So I am so excited that I'm here to just have a little brief conversation with the one and only, who y'all probably have seen all over the place this past year and a half, but none other than who now? Okay, I got to remember, he's now Dr. Martin Lemelle Jr., the current president of the Grambling State University of Grambling, Louisiana, my hometown, my alma mater. Welcome, can I just still call you Sir Martin?
Absolutely.
Yes, Sir Martin. Just because I knew him before he was doctor.
Absolutely.
So it's sometimes hard to like, doctor. That's Martin. That's Sir Martin.
That's grounded in the work. So
oh yeah. So I am glad. I want you to let us know about it. I want to give you all of what you're about. You can let us know who you really are and just introduce to it. I'm gonna let you, because we're about to let the cat out of the bag on some things. Okay. A lot of people do not know about Dr. Martin or President Martin, who he is. And so just give us an introduction. Give us your introduction of yourself.
It's an honor to be with you and to share space with an entity, Scholastic Motivation Ministries, that's been a part of my journey. I'm Martin from Grambling. I'm Martin and Cynthia's eldest son, a product of the Grambling community, a space that has more researchers and folks with doctoral degrees per capita than a lot of places in this world, a community that's founded on faith and has been architected through the fire. Founded in 1901, Grambling State University is in its 125th year of existence, and I'm a native son of this community. A resident of the state of Louisiana for several years, educated in Lincoln Parish, a part of Louisiana First jurisdiction, many years of my formative experience, and a product of what it means to invest in the educational and experiential space for young people in this country. So excited to be in conversation with you and to go down memory lane, but also talk about the future and what's important for the investment of the scholars that are coming right now.
Yeah. Again, he let that one cat out of the bag when they were going out, and I would tell people, no, he's from well, started out as Ruston Temple Church,
Yeah.
and me and his mother would get into arguments when the two churches. I'm from Ebenezer,
Yes.
as well as Ruston. We had the same pastor. We had the
Yeah.
same pastor, and when we came together as one church, she and I would get into arguments because she would say, "No, it's Ruston Miracle." I said, "No, it's Miracle Temple. It's Ruston Miracle Temple." But that's our relationship. That's my sister. His mother is my sister, and so that was our relationship. That's why I think I was in Martin's life so much, is because she would just not, and we lived diagonal from each other.
Yeah.
Growing up, so. And that is it. But I really am, like I said, I'm really excited about watching his journey, watching your journey, and knowing that, I grew up with that old African proverb that it takes a village.
It does.
And his mother was part of my village, and somehow I became part of his village.
Yes.
And so just to see that, and so I'm always very proud of him and Dennis, his little brother Dennis, and watching what they have accomplished and what they're going through. And I want you to tell me, okay, your mother was a district SMM president.
Yes.
And back in the days of being voluntold what you were going to do. And not because I've shared with them, dealing with Bishop Winbush and Mother Macy Winbush, and I was basically voluntold at fifth grade what I was going to participate in and what I was going to do, and I wasn't all that afraid of Bishop Winbush, but for some reason I was a little afraid and intimidated by Mother Macy, and that's who I worked with directly, and then Bishop grabbed me and started working with him. But can you tell me about your journey in SMM? What did you start off with? And then you can tell me about your most memorable part of participating in SMM.
For me, the core of that experience, and one that's very fundamental to the work that I still do today as an educator and university president, was around the Bible Bowl competition. So being able to immerse yourself in a piece of literature that is the foundation for the lived experience that we all are fortunate to be able to do, but to learn scripture and text, but more so apply that through a space of recalling facts, being a scholar, being able to exegete what the text is actually communicating. And so, Elder Lewis, when we go into spaces today and we need to bring the word to the four corners of the world, Grambling's a global institution, and I can ground that in a perspective that I've had since I was growing up, to understand what it means to read a text and also consider the times in which that text was written, to look at the application of everyday decision making. How do we ensure that the least among us is treated with dignity and respect? How do I know that, yes, not only am I my brother and sister's keeper, but I also am my brother, I am my sister. And so I bring that into decisions that sometimes can be difficult on a college campus, to understand the humanity of each and every person that I get to engage with and we get to serve. So Bible Bowl, hands down for me. In terms of memory, being able to say that we not only had a Bible Bowl team that would participate in SMM, but also the drill team. And oftentimes, particularly in our culture, we get pinned in one space or another, right? You're an athlete, you're a nerd. We believe that the multi-hyphenate is the essence of who we are. And so not only were we able to do this type of rhythmic competition through drill team and recall facts and step and be in participation, but we could also do the research. And so those type of things are really true to SMM, and they prepare students for leadership beyond that high school or middle school experience, and it takes them through the rest of their life.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I forgot you were in drill team. I remember you Bible
Yeah,
hall. I remember you Bible
challenging
hall.
at drill team, but I had to have a core skill, right? I had to be just enough. I wasn't gonna be in the front of the drill. I was gonna be on the side. But on Bible Ball, I was the captain, right?
Yeah,
That speaks to teamwork. You
yeah.
have to have a space on each and every team to contribute. I talked to our athletic director this morning about quality teams, and there's a coach, but there's also a space for each particular player to know their role. And so getting that variety of experience really helped me become this well-rounded individual, right? So don't ask me to do any steps today. I don't know that I would be
Not
able.
even, not even with the Kappas.
The Kappa cane has been retired. You know, it's more of an ornament or a fixture. But all these things make us beautiful. They make us
Yeah.
exciting, right? They make us holy. They make us
Okay.
revered. And so those are the things that I remember very fondly.
Oh yeah. And I can tell you my most memorable part with you was for a lot of people who do not know, at the time, U.S. Senator Cleo Fields
Hmm.
was at the time the first black U.S. senator elected from the South since Reconstruction. And he was from Louisiana. And you introduced him at a Black History banquet that was sponsored by Scholastic Motivations. And your introduction, I still see you doing that introduction. Of course, you love, and matter of fact, I hear you still use that alphabet.
I do.
You
I
still
do.
use that alphabet analogy
Wow.
that,
Yes.
that you gave, and I said, "Oh, he started." What grade was you in that by that time?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for bringing that up. That was the genesis of me hearing his acrostic oration that day using the alphabet to amplify gifts.
Mhm.
And I was so enamored by not just what he was saying, but the delivery of that and how it was very resonant for the audience. And as you mentioned, I had the great fortune to introduce him and have become very well acquainted with him throughout my career now. And to still reference back to that, I've used that in speeches in various different segments of my career. But that's where it started, right?
That's
Here
where it started.
and being able to also become more comfortable with your gift. And
Mhm.
this is a really important point for SMM. Those gifts that our young people have, they are nurtured at a very young age. And so if you have a student or a young person in your life who's saying, hey, I don't want to go to baseball camp this summer, but I really want to learn how to play the violin, right? Honor that, nurture that, right? Find the space to get the community around that young person. You may not know a concert violinist, but 2-3 degrees of separation, there's somebody within the pathway who can invest in them. There's a young person who may not want to pick up the basketball, but wants to pick up tennis, right? We can find the bridges to support them in a very authentic way, to honor them at a very young age and nurture those gifts. And having that investment through areas like SMM, where sometimes everybody's not going to have that in their household, right? Everybody's not going to have that in their direct family line. And that's where that village that you mentioned comes into play. And so having that for me has always been really a superpower. It's an anointed space to be able to plug into this network and say, hey, if I have a graphic or some type of creative project, right? We're calling you, Elder Lewis, right, to be able to figure it
Yes,
out
y'all have.
and get it done, right? And so you got to have that network.
Yes, yes, yes. And I want to give one point, and we can get ready to conclude. But I know, and I noticed you use this particular term. You used it today. I've seen you on some interviews, news interviews, and you always bring up something that is very poignant about the multi-hyphenate.
Oh,
And even what I do now is I'll have to tell, I have a degree in biology. Yeah, but you do. Yeah, but you do. I was like, yeah, but you know, my degree was in biology,
yeah,
but I know how to do all of these things.
yes,
I'm currently SMM for the international. I am an assistant coordinator for 3 competitions on this task force, that task force, and then they found out, oh, you gave us a 3D model of how we need to set everything up down to the. I said,
yeah,
yes, this is some of that I learned. I learned that in the church.
right,
And I
right.
thought it was important when I went to college that I learned these different things. So the multi-hyphenate, can you go into that and explain what you're doing now and how you see, because I know you talk a lot about now
Yes.
about where the HBCUs need to go. Now, since you are one of the youngest, if not the, well, I think if somebody came after you that was a little bit younger, but nobody knows about it. But we know you being
Appreciate.
one of the youngest HBCU presidents in the country.
Yeah, no. So I was appointed at 39, was at the youngest at that point in time. And now in Georgia at Savannah State, Dr. Jermaine Worrell, who's leading them, he's a little bit younger than me. And so there really is this millennial leadership shift happening in higher education. And as I think about Grambling's arc of history, when Charles P. Adams came on a mission from Tuskegee, he was younger than me. He was 36. And the young people will always see us through the movement. You know, you think about Dr. King and the incredible work that he was able to do with civil rights. And as we look at this next chapter, America's celebrating 250 years. And it's a complicated history in this country. HBCUs birthed out of necessity, 300 HBCUs during Reconstruction. Today we stand just over 100. So we have to continue to punch above our weight, but we over-index on every type of metric that you can think of. Social and economic mobility, a student who chooses an HBCU graduates not just for their particular family trajectory, they're changing generations. And so we are infinite commas. You just named off of yours, right? There are not enough of positives to really amplify who we are as an ecosystem, but we have to be both and. That 10 times better equation is still relevant today. And what we do that is so special and so sacred at an HBCU is that we nurture the full individual. You are celebrated here. You are in touch with the community that sees you for every aspect of your gift. And it's almost as though this ecosystem gives you enough energy through that journey, whether it's 4 or more, into the world, so that when you get to corporate America or you get to the table of the Global Economic Forum, you have your people with you. And so you're never alone. We're still in spaces. Michelle Obama, former First Lady, talked about it at Essence Fest, where we're still getting the first, right, to happen. But when you walk in that room, you may be standing there in solidarity, right, as the only or as the first, but you've got a shoulder of ancestors rooting you on, saying, you got this. You've got your HBCU community who's there with you. You got your Black and Gold Alpha community. That's for you, Elder Lewis. We're right there with you. I gave you the moment, right? You got the people.
You know I'm accepted.
Absolutely. And so
I tried to recruit you.
You
but
did.
Your daddy spoke too much, too loud. So
we all can't make the best decisions all the time, but hey, we get to where we need to go. So that's what it means, you know. Yeah. Whether it's Debbie Allen, right, who was directing, producing, and starring, or if it's Doug Williams, who's playing and then being in executive management, or Thomas Moorhead, who's owning the dealership and creating hotel projects, or Denise Young, who's leading HR at Apple and then also a classically trained vocalist, right?
Yeah.
We are all of those things in one person, but it's multidimensional.
multidimensional, and that is something that I know our young people in SMM, they need to know that they can do. And I've heard stories now that a lot of them did carry on with that, and
Good.
so
Good.
that's what we're really trying to impact on the ones that are coming up now, and encourage them. Like I said, I'll go back to an old statement that came out way back, talking about, well, you don't get all you learn and lose your burn. I said, well, that's what SMM does. Yep. It teaches us how to balance and know that those two areas can live cohesively. That we have the church, but I don't live on the altar.
Right.
I live out here in this world. I've got to work, and I got to bring some of that stuff back and make us, greater and expand the arms and everything. And so I thank you. Like I said, again, I thank you. So proud of you. I talk about you a lot. I talk about Grambling a lot, period. So
please continue to do so.
Yes, I really do. At Georgia Tech, they'll walk in because they hated that G, because it's the same G for UGA.
Yes.
But my supervisor would get in there and say, "Oh, you need to look at the colors." They're like, Sylvester, or our original trademark, and congratulations on that trademark. Our original trademark that we did in the 90s, I was a part of that. And it was trademarking the colors.
Nice.
That they made, and we did it with UGA at the time when that came up, and that's how I knew that got me to understand about marketing. And it was like, about marketing and branding, and so I ended up on the Intellectual Property Alliance Board for the state of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And they really got us like, you already? And I said, yeah. Well, we're in the year of, the NLTs. I said, yeah, and that's a part of it, because that's part of your, and it was like, you explain. I said, I got my education by going through Grambling. They put you through. And I said, I said, yeah, I was a science major, and I have no idea how I ended up in those spaces, but I learned.
Yes.
And that's, and they were not our complexion.
Sure. And
so they were so excited. When I said, I'm going back to Louisiana, I said, well, I'll try to connect with the people in Louisiana to do the same thing. Absolutely. So congratulations on that. I was so proud to hear about that and everything. And we're gonna talk about some other things before I let you go. I'm gonna cut off this and everything. But I also congratulate you and your mother.
Thank you.
As you are now.
Yes.
SMM, ISMM, as well as the jurisdictional SMM alumni, legacy alumni members. I'm gonna get something to you, and I'm gonna reach out to you on the other part of that. As any, about associations and everything, and how that's going to help, and some things that we're trying to do with that. But this has been the Grambling State University president, and hopefully he don't do what he did when he was a vice president, and then all of a sudden he was gone. But he came back, and I knew he was coming back. When the president said he was being moved up, and they was like, who's gonna get the next president? Martin's coming back. Because it was one of his goals. If he couldn't be the first U.S. black president, which he wanted to do, that was one of his goals. He did say he wanted to be Grambling's president, and you fulfilled that dream. And I remember, so I guess since I was in that, I knew that was part of it, so I knew that was going to happen. And so we are certainly glad to have you, and know that he had a COGIC upbringing. Yes. Participated in SMM, and he's still using a lot of those skills and everything that he used in it. And when I mentioned it to your mother, oh yes, he does. Like, okay, I'm gonna get her, and figure out what she does over it. Jarvis Christian. Yeah. I think she's associate VP, or
she has now retired from administration, and she's teaching MBA courses only.
Okay.
Yeah. So
his mother even went, that far. So we always had goals that were set in front of us, and knowing what we can do and fulfilling those. So I am glad on that. And so yes. So like I said, we thank him for coming, and hopefully this helps out and help bridge that gap to all of those who are coming after us. And this is going to be part of our archive.
Okay.
They'll have something to go back with.